What's going on, everybody? So today I want to talk about Kingdoms of Intrigue because I had a comment on one of my videos from someone asking me if I was going to touch on it. And we kind of did touch on it during the booster box update video when we looked at supply on the secondary market. Kingdoms of Intrigue OPO4, and you guys can see I've kind of changed around the chart a bit. I am planning to do some big things with this Google Sheet, but you can see here Kingdoms of Intrigue was up a fair amount last week. Moved up from around $155 to $171, so about a 10% move over a week, which is quite impressive there. And you can see on the market in terms of supply, we went from 32 boxes before 20% leg up down to 24. And we also saw that weekly sales jump from 5 up to 8 boxes. So not a huge difference, but it is a noticeable difference. But mainly that box price, we really did see some of those boxes drop out of there. And on TCG Player, we do have some higher sales as well, up to around $200 USD. Now, I do think with One Piece boxes, TCG Player is about 5 to 10% higher than market in most cases, not all cases, but for a lot of these boxes like Kingdoms of Intrigue, Pillars of Strength, Paramount War, they do seem to be a little bit higher than eBay and some other marketplaces. And I know in the past I have called Kingdoms of Intrigue a bad set, and honestly, I'm not a big fan of the set. But now that I look at them a little bit closer, like I don't think it's that far off of Pillars of Strength. And honestly, you could make an argument that the top card in Kingdoms of Intrigue, the Sabo alternate art, is better than the Soga King alternate art. I think that's like a fairly decent argument that you could make. And then also you have the Boa Hancock up there as well, $231. That is higher than the Nami. So up top, the top two cards, although they're very close, you could make an argument that it has a better top two cards, even though the Boa Hancock is a reprint from Romance Dawn, also the Trafalgar Law. And that's kind of the reason I do put it a bit lower. It's not great in the 4 set to already be printing top cards, in my opinion, and for them to be some of the most valuable in the set. But whatever. In Pillars of Strength, I do really like that you have those wanted posters. I think that's a very unique thing, and that's kind of what pushes it above Kingdoms of Intrigue, in my opinion. I also don't think Pillars of Strength is necessarily a super strong set, but it has some decent cards, and the wanted posters are solid as well. Now, when we look at Paramount War, I definitely think this is a little bit above both of those sets. It also is a little bit older, and I believe you have the 2 variations. You have red bottom and white bottom, I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. So there is just some level of depth in terms of collectability to Paramount War. And then also the Ace manga up top is just way better than either of those manga cards. And then honestly, just the lineup of the top 5, probably better. You have a Garp card, Smoker, both great characters. Edward Newgate, Whitebeard, and then Sanji. So you have a decent top 5 cards there, which I enjoy. And then Romance Dawn, I was actually looking at this today. This set is honestly a lot deeper than I thought it was the last time I looked at this set. And maybe it's just my perspective shifting because I'm getting deeper in the anime and stuff like that. But the Shanks manga, $850, like that's a pretty legit manga card up top. But then you also have the alternate arts, the parallels at the time, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to call them alternate arts. I really don't care. You have the Zoro, Law, Luffy, Nami, Doflamingo. Those are all very popular characters for a top 5 or 6 cards, and also with them, some of them being pre-errata, the blue bottoms. Like there's just so much depth in terms of Romance Dawn as well. But I want to keep most of the focus on Kingdoms of Intrigue, and not to harp on it more and beat a dead horse, but I think Kingdoms of Intrigue moving up in price into this 180-ish range, and sales even up towards $200 on TCG Player. This is another sign that One Piece is deeper than just the card game. We know that the first 4 sets next year are going to be rotating out. A lot of people are probably assuming, because I'm not sure if Bandai's actually confirmed, but we're assuming, and maybe they have made a confirmation, so let me know in the comments down below if they have, that they're not going to be reprinting these first 4 sets anymore after that point, or probably even at this point. They just have so much to do, especially catching up with English for the release next year of all the languages at the same time. This means that people want these sets for more than just the cards, because if people were only opening these boxes just to get cards to play the set, or to play the TCG rather, a lot of these cards in the set would just not be worth anything. The box price wouldn't go up over time because there would be no purpose for the cards inside of it. And this is where you get to a point where when a box gets older, it kind of becomes a collectible in and of itself, And the cards inside and their prices do not matter in terms of the booster box price. They're kind of independent at a certain point, and that's a good sign. That means that people are collecting this box as a sealed box, as a collectible item, not to use in the TCG, and they value that long term. And that's happened across tons of different games, but you see it a ton in Pokemon as well. Steam Siege, Crimson Invasion, all of those sets. Steam Siege is up to like $750 a box now, and that's honestly trash. Like, no one's opening Steam Siege for enjoyment or to pull a chase card. It's not happening. So those boxes are just going up naturally over time because they are sealed collectibles. And the same thing is going to happen with Kingdoms of Intrigue, with Pillars of Strength, with Paramount War. Now, some of these sets, there is going to be more desire to open them and chase certain cards, especially like Romance Dawn, a blue bottom box. I could totally see in 10, 15 years, if One Piece, if collecting cards, collectibles in general, it does seem like a lot of people project that collectibles and the collectible market and investing side of it is going to be here long term. But if collectibles and TCGs and ripping cards is here in 10 to 15 years, opening a blue bottom One Piece box, if the game lasts that long, is definitely going to be a thing. Kind of what like PokeRev does with first edition boxes. He'll stream them. It's a big spectacle. I could totally see that happening with a blue bottom One Piece box, but it could happen with some of these other sets as well. And the final thing I want to close on is that even though I think OPO4 is probably the worst of the first four sets, it makes sense that it is moving up and it's getting closer to a price point where it probably should be at. So when we looked a couple weeks ago, Kingdoms of Intrigue was $155. Pillars of Strength and Paramount War were already up in the $215, $220 range. Romance Dawn, the blue bottom, and then when we looked at the white bottom as well, I mean, they've pulled away quite a bit, and that makes sense. They are better sets. But should Kingdoms of Intrigue have been 30% cheaper than Pillars of Strength? Probably not. I think these sets are closer than most people kind of perceive them to be. And it seems that some people have decided that that is the case and they're buying up these boxes. And now that it's getting into that 180, 185 range, I think we're going to see it slow down, probably stop before $200. I don't imagine it's going to break into that price. I know TCG Player, I know there's sales at $200 right now, but I think it's probably going to, balance out around here in that 185, 190 range. And sure, you might have a couple sales reach that 200 price point, but I don't think it's going to go too much higher than that in the short term. And just remember, guys, if you have OPO5 currently sitting at $260, which is a way better set than any of the first four sets, but specifically in regards to OPO2, OPO3, and OPO4, because these are all around that $200 price point now. If OPO5 is only at $260 a booster box and you can get it on the open market for around $250, $240, whatever the case is, depending on where you live, these boxes probably shouldn't be moving up to match that 250-ish range anytime soon. We're going to have to wait to see OPO5 either get reprinted and crash, just because of the reprint, depending on the size of it. Crash is probably not the best word to use. Correct, maybe, down into like the 150s or something if Bandai decides to reprint it. Or it's just going to take off to around 300, 320. And probably at that point, then people would look at boxes like Paramount War, Pillars of Strength, Kingdoms of Intrigue, and decide at that point, okay, these boxes should probably be closer to $240, $250, $260 maybe even, and that's when we'll see them move up again. So to conclude, I'm happy that Kingdoms of Intrigue is moving up a little bit. I think it's a good sign just for the collectible side of the hobby. Also the investing side, it definitely is a good thing. People are seeing value in these older sets as sealed investments, because the reality is after next year, opening these is going to be pointless for playing the TCG because the cards aren't going to be in rotation. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. As always, let me know in the comments down below what you think. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.